David from New Jersey getting you on the line here. David, you are live on Truth Wanted. What's up?
Hey, Dan, nice to talk to you again. This is my third time.
Yes, this is your third time calling in. What's up, David? How's it going?
Well, again, great show. I love it. I've been listening to the whole time. I'm a big believer in having open discussions about everything as well.
Great.
Now,
that's awesome.
I'm the person who has a historical perspective. You might remember, you may not, we talked last. When I was entering high school, my question was, boy, how will I know if there's a God or not? How do I know if I can trust this Bible or not? But it also led into questions, well, how do I know whatever is true? How do I know? So I went through college and did a study on what I would call, comparative religions, the history and development of belief in God, where it begins and how it developed. And obviously, there are people in the Christian world who also believe there are cults. There's a lot of people who are Christians who don't believe in Jones. They don't follow that kind of stuff. There's many Christians who aren't as much against conspiracies as you are. Right?
Honestly, I would say that the vast majority are of that disposition, and all too often what we think of as Christianity is represented by the large public figures like Paula White Cain and the televangelists and the prosperity gospel people, because they're so goddamn rich. But I would say that most Christians are people who are just going to church because it's a social gathering. It's because they don't have a rec league. They don't have basketball on Tuesdays. So they go to church and they socialize. And the whole point is just to be kind and to be a good person. That's the majority of Christians, I think.
Well, I'm going to agree that's part of what you see. But that's not what created Christianity, and that's not the history of Christianity in the least, what you're saying. That's not how Christianity got here. Now, there is that part of it. I'm not going to disagree with that. But that's not why Christianity is still here today, and that's not how it originated. Belief in God didn't come in a fashionable, gossipy kind of way that you're describing. That's not how it originated. So I'd like to go back to what is the origin of belief in God as far as, monotheism. Do either of you know?
Well, yeah. So I want to go back for a second, because you mentioned like Christianity as a history, has a history of colonialism, has a history of missionaries going all over the place. And it's like, we live in kind of almost a post-Christian world where everybody already believes in Christianity in the United States. We don't have the active evangelism that used to happen, and the literal bloodshed that's happened over the years and stuff. So to your point,
but we can study the history of thought, of philosophy, and where it began. Now, we have a thing called natural theology that comes from Aristotle and Plato.
Well, let's
right?
Yes, absolutely. But I want to answer your questions in full here, because the other question was the history of monotheism. I'm not sure how much Jordan is on the history side of that. I do know that we have strong scholarship that suggests that Judaism in particular did start off polytheistic before it was monotheistic, but it's not actually the oldest monotheistic religion that we know of. Actually, Zoroastrianism dates before Judaism, and that's probably the most widely practiced monotheistic belief. But of course, any ancient culture that we don't have evidence or record of that we lose over time, we can't study that. But Christianity is definitely not the first monotheistic religion. That's a certainty.
Now, yes, but the most important monotheists, people who really got people thinking seriously about a serious view of God, is Aristotle and Plato. And if you go to class, take a course in it, that's what you're going to find out.
I think Aristotle and Plato definitely had opinions on God. I don't think they were the first ones to talk about, that in that particular sense.
I'm talking about their influences with us even today.
Oh, yes, yes.
Strong and powerful.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yes, Plato and Aristotle have a wider influence on Christianity than what we typically think, and that's because of the Renaissance period, in part, and even before that with medieval scholarship, when they were looking at the ancient philosophers and stuff, and they started.
Yes, right. So here's what I did. The first thing I studied was, when I went to college, the first thing I studied was Aristotle and Plato, and their view on their concepts and they're proofs for the existence of God.
Yes.
Okay, that's the first thing. If you're going to study God, that's what first thing you're going to have to study.
I made dick jokes. I'm a comedian. I don't know. I'm a professional stand-up comic.
Right? Now,
Yeah.
to get back then to the idea that Aristotle and Plato also at that time founded for us what we call the rules for rational thinking.
Okay, I'm just curious, David, what you want to do with this call? Because I don't know if this do you want to make this a conversation, or like what do you want to do with this?
Well, I want to know if you guys even know what is the basis of rational thinking. It's metaphysics versus physics. That's what they founded.
I don't. Well, hold on. Wait, David. There were philosophers before Aristotle and Plato and Socrates and these guys. You know, like they.
We are
I
talking
get that.
about the most important one. We're not here to talk. I don't want to talk about all of them. I just want to talk about the most important one. That's
Which
key. You got to. You have to get to something that you can agree on, right? You said let's have something we can agree on and know is absolutely true.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, if this is your way of leading us into a God, yeah, that's true. Like, look, like the history. I get it. These figures are important to the history of philosophy, especially Christian philosophy. I will concede to you that. But to say that they're just
God.
I don't think you need to know Aristotle or Socrates to believe in God. No, I don't think that's a requirement.
No. Oh, you think I'm saying that?
I thought that's what you said, but
no. I said it's important to understand what they said. They are the biggest influences on our churches, on Islam. People tell you that from Augustine to Aquinas, they incorporated Aristotle and Plato's basics. That's the basics for their apologetics.
Yes.
And a lot of modern apologists are still using it today. So
that's 100% true. Yeah, 100% true. Yeah.
So what is it that he said that was so powerful?
I think it was just I don't. Well, if you're asking me, I don't know.
Okay
I don't know.
To bang your students.
Okay. No.
I think.
So now I'm going to tell you. I'm just going to tell you.
Okay, so it's a rhetorical question. So you're not actually asking me. Is that what it is?
Well, sometimes when I do debates or when I do discussions with people,
sir, it's sometimes why.
Because I don't want to repeat something to somebody they already know.
Okay, yeah. Okay, well, give me your take, and then let's have a discussion. Let's talk about it, because I don't want this to be like a lecture for everybody.
Fine. Now, it's not my take. It's what it is. It is what it is. Plato said nothing moves itself, that everything moves by some other thing. It's cause and effect. He gave us that understanding of cause and effect. And eventually you have to come to the first uncaused cause. Otherwise, you have an infinite regress, which is impossible. So there has to be something that's called the unmoved mover.
Right. This is I'm familiar with this. This is the prime mover. This is Thomas Aquinas. Yeah.
Well, yeah, but it starts with Aristotle.
Starts with Aristotle. Yeah. Aquinas based his ideas on Aristotle. Yeah.
So he concluded that things are moved by mind. That matter is moved by the ultimate mind. So we had the distinction of the distinction between mind and matter, physics and matter.
Yeah, that was a dumb thing to believe, wasn't it?
And matter.
Yeah, but
no. Well, Aristotle and Plato had more influence and still has it today than what you just said. Excuse me for being really, really, firm on what is actual historical and very common accepted history and philosophy.
At the time, yes. But there's a lot of people who don't follow the prime. Yes, even today, apologists still use the prime mover argument. But there's a lot of philosophers that have critiqued this and have shown that this isn't really the best, explanation for things. And there's a couple of different holes. And we can go into.
We're having a contentious argument that we both agree with.
Yeah.
So I don't understand why this is a struggle.
Let me ask you this, David. Is this argument convincing? Is this argument convincing to you today? Is this a reason why you believe in God because of the prime mover argument?
No.
Okay.
Because of the rules. Because of the rules of logic.
Okay. Well, I'll be honest.
I believe in God today because of the rules of logic.
I don't want to get too much heavy into a discussion on the rules of logic right now, only because we're at the kind of towards the end of the show. And Jordan, I love him, but this isn't his world. This isn't his expertise. So, David, if you want to call back,
there's only one rule, and that's the second goddamn amendment. Those are the rules.
But I want to tell you, I want to show you that I'm listening to you, David. Yes, I totally agree with you. Aristotle, and it is super important to Christianity and its history of philosophy. And the prime mover argument is something to consider. It is interesting to look at. Now, when I say something to consider, it's something I think everybody should look at. I obviously don't think it's the best argument for Christianity or religion in general, but I think that's a topic I want to explore that with you, maybe on a different day, if that's okay.
Dan, I would love to, because I think that's something you would definitely find interesting.
I think so too. I think so too.
Apply that to our trying to figure out what is a conspiracy and what is not applies here as well.
Yes, I think so too.
What is irrational?
I think we got off to a rocky start, and we kind of used a lot of time for that. And so I just want to get to the next call. But David, I just want you to know I'm thinking about you. I don't want to shove this aside because this isn't a conversation I don't want to have. It's just I want it to be in the right setting, in the right minds, with the right people. Okay, so next time let's go ahead and talk about it. And I want to say thanks again, David, calling in, third time calling in, wanting to talk to me about this stuff. So.
I'm praying for you,
really
David. That's what
I thought you should say you're praying for me. You should pray for both of us. Pray for both of us, honestly.
I only pray for one person at a time. That's my rule.
That's one person at a time? Okay, well, all right. I guess that's how it is.